We're just about a week away from the launch of the season, NHL 13. Of course, we don't know when the NHL season starts. That's still up in the air, but NHL 13 is getting here on time, as usual, every year. Can you just tell us a little bit about what the work has been like with this year's product?
Sure. This year, it's the biggest leap in the game that we've had since NHL 07. We have 2 gameplay innovations and 2 connected experiences that we've brought out to the public. The first gameplay innovation is True Performance Skating. It's a brand new skating engine that actually takes top-end speed, momentum, and acceleration into account. So the players are actually going to play with a much more realistic skating. You're going to see a much more creative way of skating. We've added 1,000 new animations, so it really brings the ability of the players' feet to match what the hands have done since NHL 07. So your creativity with your feet can actually lend you to do more with your hands, and that's how a real player works. So the better he is with his feet, it's easier for him to do things with his hands.
So for those of us who have been playing NHL for years, it's a little bit different, I feel, because you have to think about more where your skates are when you take a shot and things like that. Is that true?
Yes. Actually, the way we wanted it to focus on was if a player is skating full speed and he tries to hit a puck to shoot, he has more chance that he's going to miss the net because the puck's moving at full speed, he's moving at full speed. It's just more chance of error. So what you want to do is just settle down and give yourself that extra second to get control of your skating, so maybe glide, and that's how players get that little bit more precision in their shooting. There's some nuances, but the game is still the same fun, fast action game that you've seen. It's just we're bringing you that more authentic feel to the skating, and you're going to feel it in your controller. With the other innovation, what we've done is because of all the new skating, it changed how the strategies worked in our game, and they weren't performing the way we wanted them to, so we rebuilt all the strategies. So now we have 5 times as many strategies, and in 1 year we spent more time on AI than we've done in the last 3 years combined. So it really brought the authenticity and the level of gameplay strategy to another level up higher, and it allows you to actually see how players play in real life, because they'll be using all the same things that you see in the NHL and in other professional leagues.
So you mentioned a little bit previously about you work with an actual NHL coach on this to sort of try and capture like the real world strategies in NHL. Can you tell us a little bit more about that work and what you learned?
Sure. So we actually had a professional coach come in, sit down, and basically teach a class. He sat down in a room and he explained all the different strategies to the producers and some of the programmers that were going to be doing the work on it. And he actually explained how they forecheck, how they do the neutral zone trapping, and how they defend the neutral zone, and what they do in the defensive zone. And the funny thing is, hockey is such a fast sport. You don't really notice what they're doing. All those players know exactly where they're going and why they're going there. And if they don't, their coach knows, and they tell them why they're not doing a good job. So it was really evident to us that some of those things, it's not that the users don't know the strategies, it's they don't really notice them in the game. So we wanted to bring that into the game so that what they see on TV is happening in the game. And the new skating and with the new strategies, you actually see how they forecheck properly and they move a player and try to make him not come up the right side and he has to go to the left side where there's another player to meet him. So it's very strategic, but it's not something the user has to truly concentrate on because the AI is doing a lot of that help with that. So, those 2 major innovations in gameplay really change how the game works and plays. So it's another level of authenticity for us. So we're very proud of that fact.
So you mentioned the online, the connected things previously, and I think this is something that just sort of, there are so many questions I want to ask about GM Connect, but I think they will play out once the game is out to see just how all these different systems that you're actually tying together in the career mode online, the dynasty thing, because I think it seems very complex, but you try to cater to just about any player who wants that connected experience. Is that the sort of the emphasis going in?
We have had one of the biggest requests that we've had in the past for our game is a multi-user dynasty, being able to play against other people as general managers and try to win a Stanley Cup. So we know that other games have done that for respective sports, and Madden and the other sports. What we wanted to do was kind of take it one step further and make it so that it doesn't have to be just 30 general managers. It could be 750 people playing together. And how we do that is by having up to 24 friends join one of these teams and play in it, and be able to use our EA Sports hockey technology that we actually let people play 6-on-6 hockey, but instead of be a pro character, they're playing with the NHL players on their teams. And in this way, they can interact. And how we wanted to make it accessible is everyone has different levels of skill in NHL. And even with that different levels of skill, everyone has fun with NHL. So what we wanted to do was, if it's a computer team that you're playing, then you just play a one versus the computer game, or it could be 4 guys versus the computer. So it doesn't really matter. And then there's also the ability to play 1 versus 1, or up to 6 versus 6. And then if you're not that great with the joystick and you want to play the game and you're more of a cerebral person, you kind of strategize, you could play as coach and be a coach mode, so you can coach your team. And you could even coach while you have 5 friends playing. So you could change the lines while they're playing the game. So it really is a matter of having different layers of how you want to play that mode. And from there, the general manager has all the same stuff that you'd see in Be a GM, where there's a salary cap, there's waivers, there's all the rules you would see in the NHL. So we've kept that level of authenticity, and we've also made it so that anyone can join and play. So whether you play 1 game a month or you play all the games with your friends, it doesn't matter. You can still be involved.
So how do you sort of maintain, because I can see some players wanting to say, like, I want to play in a league, but I want to play in a league where the general managers are a little bit like me. Maybe they have 1, 2, 3 fans. Maybe they play it like that. I don't want to play against just simulated teams. I don't want to play in too many, or vice versa, and other ways around. Will there be, ways to tailor that experience?
Each league, when they're created, can actually put a description of what the league is like. So what we tried to do was give tools for the users to make their own leagues. We at EA didn't want to be the commissioner of the league. We wanted to give you the tools.
Or 1,000 leagues.
Or 1,000 leagues, which can be quite interesting, as not everyone wants to play by the rules made up by some one guy. So we kind of said, okay, if that's how we're going to do this, let's make it so that the commissioner can put up a description and say, hey, this league's going to be up to 5 people per team, and we're going to play every Wednesday night will be the day we'll move the league forward, and everyone should have, we'll have 5 or 6 days to play their games. That's the way that league will work. There might be another league that every night they move it forward because everyone's going to play 5 hours a night. So it's varying levels of how you want to play the game, and we just want to give the tools to let you do that. So I think that's where you're going to get a cool experience, where if you find the right league, you can play any way you want.
It's pretty much like finding that right sort of fantasy league or play-by-mail league.
We wanted to be a different version of a fantasy league. We wanted to be that our game does a great job at mimicking what general managers do, and you can play our game and have fun on the ice and managing the team, but we didn't want to be the one making the rules so that you're stuck playing our way. We wanted you to kind of create the rules, and in this way you can set up what the skill level of the on the ice action is. You can set up how often the league will move forward. You can set up how many players are in the league. You can put messages to each other. So there's ways to communicate. We've even made a mobile app that allows you to then connect with the league even when you're not on your console, which, as we all play and do things, I'm not always on my console. I work, I have a household, I have a wife. I don't plan to be there all the time, but that mobile app from in my pocket is always there. Usually you always have your cell phone. You could always check what the scores were tonight. Oh, I couldn't play tonight, but I know there were 6 or 7 games played. I can see who's winning. Oh, Boston won. I need to try and catch up to him, so I got to make a trade and figure that out. So there's always something to keep you engaged.
So I'm looking forward to seeing how this connected GM, all that stuff is going to go live, because it's very exciting. I think that's when the real. I guess it's the same for you guys. You haven't really seen how it will be at a large scale until the game is out.
We test extensively a mode like this because it is not built in your traditional way where you could just put it on a disc and you have servers, you have a lot of things going on to make this work. Yes, it is something that everyone back home are working on right now to make sure that it can go as smooth as possible during launch. But again, it's an online, it's very different. We're very excited to see how people enjoy the mode and feedback for the mode. So we really want this mode to be something that people take to and enjoy it and play, and they can play with other people, which is a big deal for us, because everyone plays online against other people, but it's not very personal because you don't you don't know the other opponent maybe. Here you'll actually start to know each other as you talk to each other on email and other things. It's kind of like creating your own community of people that want to play together, and I think you see some of that online, but I think we're doing it really in a big way with our game.